We're live. Welcome back to I would say Profiling Evil. I don't know why I was going to say welcome back to Profiling Evil. We're welcoming Profiling Evil back for an episode of kind of a part 3 continuation of our search for Randy Leach. And there's been a whole slew, Mike King, of new information with Randy, and I don't even know what to think about this case anymore. I mean, right now, I just want to solve this one and bring Randy home, so that way we can be, this one needs to be done, because my head is going to explode if any more of the information comes in as to where we're at with all of it. We have right now.
I don't think there's been a day that's gone by, Jared, that we haven't had emails from people, that we haven't been talking back and forth between the four of us about new information that's coming in. A lot of it is ghost stories that needs other pieces of evidence to kind of back it up. But there's been some pretty significant things come through.
Yeah. And I can't even remember. I mean, I know that we've done a couple of live streams along the way, updating people about some of our movement that we are currently on with this new Q1 2021 road trip. And so if I do repeat myself on anything that you may have already heard, please just accept my apology right now, right out of the gate, because just even today, it's hard to remember what even happened, earlier today, because of everything that took place here in Nashville as we're looking for Bill Simmons. So we've been on, since we left Harold and Alberta's house, we've been on the case of so many things. I don't even know. Like I said, my head is just a million different directions. So I think
you covered hundreds of miles. I mean, you guys hit the ground running. I just can't believe the schedule you're carrying.
Yeah. So with that, let's jump into it, because we have, 40 minutes here, and then we're bumping over to your channel later on right after that, because we have Mike Bishop, who has taken the lead with you, working with Frances, who is Brian McKenzie's mom. We call him William McKenzie or Brian McKenzie, interchangeable, with the case that we're going to be working on the 26th over in Jackson, Tennessee as well. And that one, the twists and turns that you guys have going on over there as well. I don't even know what we're getting ourselves into.
Yeah, these are interesting, and I think it always is a great reminder to you and you guys really are good at this, of being wise as you move forward. You're looking at stuff that isn't face to face with perhaps somebody who's a suspect in the case, which is really good, because you can focus on things. You can, and frankly, I don't know how you could watch your back when you're underwater, but you're in areas and environments. It's a lot different than, we're seeing some YouTubers who are starting to go out and try to interview people involved in these cases, and that's a really interesting position to put people themselves in. I'm glad you guys do it the way you do it.
Good. So let's just dive into this. So welcome to Adventures with Purpose this evening. We appreciate everybody being here. We got Sam, the Adventure Man. We've got Mike from Profiling Evil. And look at this. We have Dan, the cameraman, is back on the road with us. We are in Nashville, but we want to bring you up to date on the Randy Leach case, because while Dan missed it, I guess this is now Dan's opportunity to hear everything that you did miss.
Yeah, I haven't really heard anything about it.
Yeah, well, first off, I'd like to interrupt real quick. Dan, Harold and Alberta told me to send you their love. They really missed you, and they wanted me to wish you the best. So that's from that was a message that I was supposed to relay to you. So they missed.
Awesome.
And we have a present in the RV for him as well that I've not yet given him. So we have that for you as well. And I didn't even peek at it, so I have no idea what you have there.
And I have to publicly say that Sam beat me on the race to 50,000. So I have to bow down to Sam and take the hits. I got your Diet Dr. Pepper right here, Sam, but I'm drinking it. So just know that I accept my position, and congratulations. That was awesome.
Yeah. Appreciate you, Mike.
All right. 50. All right, so I'm going to dive right into this. Later on, I'm going to be mentioning Mike's new book. What an incredible little thing! And yeah, he even signed this for me, and he's got a whole bunch of them behind him. But that's just a sneak peek, because we're here for Randy. Let's get it going. Randy Leach, getting back with Harold and Alberta. Incredible people. I love being there with them. Betty, Larry, as well as their daughter Elizabeth. And with this one, Sam, I mean, this is, again, I want to believe that this was nothing more than an accident, that Randy Leach left the party that evening, and that he just ran off the road, and we're going to find him buried under the sand or under the mud somewhere. And with that, I'm hopeful that we're able to clear these areas that we've been looking for, because we have a new partner that's come on board. He's been with us in Nashville for the last 2 days. His name is Troy. He's the CEO of a company called skyfront.com. And with that one, he's brought in additional partners with us, from what it is Skyfront is a really large, heavy lift drone that will fly for up to 5 hours. They have incorporated a magnetometer under it. Now, if you've been following the Randy Leach case, you know that we have some potential areas of interest that we need to get a magnetometer over it. Well, and part of the problem is, sometimes you just have a marine magnetometer where you float it on the water or right underneath the surface. But some of these areas has the river changed as well? So we're dealing with dry land, or areas that we can't even get a boat over. Because if you saw like episode 2 where Dan and I were on the boat, there were literally parts that we were walking the boat over the sand. We were dragging it through the shallow sand, through the river and the shallow sand. And we ended up at some locations where there was no more river, and it was nothing more than the river and the sand had changed. And so with this, working with Troy, working with Skyfront, and bringing on additional partners, Geometrics is coming on board and helping us out. That they have supplied a magnetometer for Troy to put underneath this drone that we've been flying the last 2 days. And I'll put up on my phone in just a moment while I'm talking about this. But they're able to actually see things under the water as well as under the subsurface, that we can see 5 to 10 meters below the sand, below the mud. It's going to be an incredible tool that we're going to be able to use not just on Randy, but as well as Marty, the missing bridesmaid, that we'll be able to use on that as well, to see if there's any metallic, any iron under the subsurface. And so with that, I just want to quickly bring up, this is what it will show you. And so let me see if it'll focus on my phone here. And is that showing up, guys? Fairly?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I could do it. I can pull it up so it's high quality.
Okay. And so, oh yeah, you have an image of it. So you'll jump on that right now. And so I'll kind of explain that. All right, look, I have mail at the UPS store.
Yep, UPS store. You got something, Jared?
Yep. So Dan's going to pop this up, but I'm going to start talking about it. So here's a pond that we were searching the other day, or just yesterday. And so they were able to take the data and say, all right, here's our flight path. So you kind of see our flight path. If this is north, south, east, and west, we're kind of going from the northeast to the southwest. And so that's the black patterns back and forth that we did our flight path. And where the dark peak is at, up there on the north side by the tree, that will show you there's actually a car under the water in that location. And so this is some of that new technology that we kind of hinted at. Really, really, really stoked.
This is really cool stuff. When you start bringing in ortho imagery and you start putting it against these base maps that you have of aerial imagery, you can actually start to take advantage of being able to get depth, better depth perception. You can get density perception, and this is great because now you can do, in a matter of a few minutes with a drone, by flying those flight patterns, you can do what would have taken you guys a much longer time to cover an area, and gives you the ability to jump in and go right to work.
Yeah, huge time. Absolutely.
Yeah, super cool stuff.
Yep. And anyway, so we have that we're going to tell you everything that we searched, and have, Dan's going to do a great job editing it down so you don't have to listen to us ramble on. And we have interviews where there's really no editing that down, other than Dan's going to put that together so that way we can put the video for you up. And that's going to be in 2 weeks or so. Dan, we're going to start releasing some of those videos. I think right around the 1st of February, we're going to start releasing those. So that's in like 10 days. So let me tell you what we're getting into. I guess the first thing Mike, is that we went back to the area, and like the night that we were rolling into the area, we get a message that human remains, have been found in the area from Gardner Lake the day before we rolled into the area. And so with this, it was definitely an area of interest for us. But what we ended up finding out is that the human remains were not as old as 32 years old, as well as the entire lake is surrounded by homes with 25 to 50 boats on it that have sonar already. So we know that every square inch of that lake has been covered, because I think it's only not even a mile long and not even a quarter of a mile wide. So we know that with the community that is there, I feel very confident in not putting our own boat on the water, knowing that there's so much sonar out there that there's not a car in that lake there.
Yeah, that was interesting to me though, Jared. I thought it was really good information, and it was really good that you went down and you drove around that. I mean, I think we figured it was about 4.5 miles of actually perimeter road that you could go around the lake. It was only 35 minutes south of Linwood, which made it really intriguing. So it was imperative that you go down and at least take a look and check that area out. And then, of course, to be able to just see what that lake looks like and how heavily traveled it is. I mean, didn't you say you talked to a bunch of boaters there and really got a sense of what the bottom of that thing looks like?
We didn't talk to any boaters on that one, but like I said, I mean, it was heavily populated around the entire lake, and the population of everybody had a boat at their house with, and like I said, at least half of them had sonar on it. And I mean, they're heavy into fishing. That's just like, they live for it.
Yeah.
So I'm not writing it off completely. I'm just saying that we moved on to some other locations for the limited amount of time that we had in the area. And I'm really glad that we went into the area early, because, it actually, we got like blizzard out. We had blizzards kind of both days with that one, but we were able to go we were hoping to cover 5 bodies of water, and we ended up covering 7, I think it was, or we went for 7 and we covered 6. So the first one was, where do we end up going, Sam? I mean, I get so confused on everywhere we've been, because it's been like 4 days now, and there's like 18 days of memory I can only do.
After a while, the days just kind of blur together. We did go back and we did search that pond that we had searched before, that we had thought that there was an anomaly there. After searching it, we figured it probably just roof from the head that had blown off that was right next to it. It was nowhere near the shape of a car or the size of a car. When we also rule out, there was another house that had been there was a pond there on a property that had been in question for some years. We were able to make contact with the owner, gain access to that property. Hear that there's quite a few different places.
So let me jump into those stories more. I hope that I'm not as scratchy as Sam. So Sam, I'm sorry, I'm going to override you a little bit, because your service is still not that good over there.
Sounds good.
So a few things I want to touch on. We met with Leanne, and this story is really, Leanne was who we believe was the very last person that ever saw Randy Leach alive. And the story with that one is that, at 1:30 in the morning, Leanne put Randy in her car, because she saw that he was, she won't say intoxicated, because now that she, here we are 32 years later, she's been in the pharmaceutical, world, and she's been around, what a drunk person looks like, as opposed to what a roofied person looks like, as opposed to what somebody on cocaine or marijuana might look like. So she's coming to us here 32 years later, realizing the difference in all of this.
Clearly, though, he was under the influence of some kind of intoxicant.
Sometime. In one that she refers to as I believe that it was more roofied than anything.
Yeah.
And so here's, so she puts Randy in her car, locks the doors. Both doors are locked. She goes into the Irwin's house to use the restroom. There's 2 people in front of her. So by the time she makes it back out to the car, Randy is gone. Her door is still locked. Randy's door is unlocked, but the door is closed, and there's no Randy. She went searching for Randy around the property for about 45 minutes. After that, she left the property and she went to go look around town in some of the other areas, because the party had moved. Some of the party had moved to another location, partly because you have the people from Kansas City butting heads with the Linwood folk. The Linwood folk just said, you know what, we don't need to deal with this. We're going to go down to our regular party spot down by, Stranger Creek Bridge. And that's where they were at. So she checked that location as well. And, so after an hour and a half, she rolls in at 3:08 in the morning is what time Leanne rolled in. I think by 8 o'clock that morning, she had heard that Randy was missing. So you're not going to want to miss that entire interview that we did with Leanne. We're going to put that up. It's 50 minutes. I can't even do it justice, but that's a short little snippet as to her story. And the sad thing on this, Mike, is that Leanne to this day blames herself.
Yeah, that was what I got when I talked with her as well. And I wanted to just step back to one thing that you said that is intriguing to me is I'm not sure why she locked the doors, because obviously he could get out. She wasn't keeping him locked in. So, but the thing that's interesting is when she gets back, her door is still locked, which is indicative that back then not many cars had automatic locks. So we very well, could be facing the fact that it would have had to have been a manual pop-up to get that lock undone. But he clearly did it from the inside by himself to get out that door. So there was something enticing to him outside, either an invitation from others that, hey, we'll give you a ride home right now, or that he does get his own car. And I'm still not ready to make that jump yet. But the thing that is really clear, unless those locks are automatic, and I forgot to ask Leanne that, Jared, when we spoke, is there would be no way her door would be unlocked if he hit the automatic lock and brought the doors up. So it really goes back to a motion by him, a mechanical motion by him to get out of the vehicle. And so he's either going to get his own car, or somebody's convinced him, hey, I'll give you a ride home. And then that gets him into trouble.
Yeah. And a few things that we want to throw in here as well that you'll hear in the interview is that it wasn't grain alcohol, so it's not the grain alcohol. It was actually vodka, so Leanne came over, met up with Kim before the party to help get the party set up and the reason why the two of them were closer friends is because they both moved to the area later, whereas the rest of the Linwood kids kind of grew up in the area, so they had their dedicated friendships, and so when the two of them moved together, they kind of clung to each other. And so with that, that's why the two, Leanne and Kim, were friends. Now with that, because Leanne was there early, it was very clear and evident to her that when Kim's mom came back, that I think her name was Annie, right? Annie? So when Annie came back, it was vodka that she used to dress up the drinks to sell to the kids. And it has been confirmed that, yes, she provided this to the kids and it was making money on the side. So now where does that take us we have an additional story that came into this, another interview that you'll have, another 50 minute interview that we ended up doing with a young gentleman by the name of Brendan. And he is by marriage related to John, what was his last name? Bishop, Burns, John Burns.
There we go.
Yeah, so you have John Burns and James Burns are brothers. And with that, they came to the party late because they were working. So when they arrived, they were not yet intoxicated like everybody else. I mean, they were the most sober people there. They did run into Randy. Randy, was looking for his keys, couldn't find his keys. And they ended up taking another gal home by the name of Helly Braun. And by the time they made it back, Randy was gone, as well as Randy's car. Now, there's a little discrepancy on whether it was, 12:30 to 1 or if it was 1:30 to 2 o'clock. We're trying to match up that time, so some people may be off on their time a little bit. But it only took 30 minutes for them to leave, and when they came back, Randy was gone. So if it's at the same time that Leanne was telling us from 1:30 to 2 is when they were gone and when they made it back, and Randy was gone during that period of time. So a 30-minute period for them, a 15-minute period for Leanne. And Leanne did not know what Randy was driving that night because she always saw him in Harold's pickup truck. And so she was never looking for Alberta's car and never noticed whether Alberta's car was there or not. However, John and James Burns did notice this. And this information is coming through us from John via Brendan, via text message that he's having this conversation with him, because he's been looking into this case since 2012, I think it was, that he's just been very interested in this. However, one of the messages that he got was from his actual mother that said, you do not want to look any further into this case because death is involved. Or I'll find the actual message if you guys. We'll talk about it later on. Actually, it'll be in the live stream. We'll actually talk about that in the live stream. So if you're not yet, or if you're not already subscribed, make sure you do so, because that's some of the information that you're going to want to hear. You're not going to want to miss that one. So where does that now take us? And then we had some additional full-on interviews with Harold and Alberta and Betty with some additional stories. But I want to jump back over into some of our additional search, and we were actually access denied for a location. And I want to kind of get your feelings on this one more, Mike. But before we jump into that one, I want to tell you about the one that we actually had access to. And so, and stop me at any time. I mean, you guys know that I can ramble on forever, and
Eric, can you hear me now? Am I clear? I'm clear now?
No, you're not clear. You're still in and out. Just hang tight. All right? Look pretty. Yeah, people just want you to look pretty. And you're like, hey, I'm Sam. And then wave once in a while. Okay? So,
yeah.
So some additional locations that we went. I appreciate the tips and the pictures that we've been receiving, because we checked out 2 other locations by foot on that first day. One of them was kind of north of what we've been calling the pig farm. And there's an image that came in. If you look, if anybody pulls up the pig farm and you just follow that ravine up, kind of you'll see coming down from the cemetery, there's the road, the dirt road comes down from the cemetery, and then it splits. And right there where it splits, on Google Earth right now, with the foliage off of it, you will see what appears to be the width and the length of a car. And Mike, you and I saw that one, and it was like, holy, what if he's in a 50-foot ravine there that nobody's been into for the last 32 years? I mean, we kind of all agree on that one, right, Mike?
I mean, it was pretty exciting, because the imagery really was the right size if a vehicle was on its side, and because it was so blurry, it was hard to discount it. And absolutely warranted you guys getting out and humping through the brush.
Yeah. And so when we did get there, it was no 50 to 100-foot ravine like I was expecting. I mean, the road just came down gradual, and it's really nothing more than the way that shadows were hitting it. But then there was also a sliver of, what is that up there in that location as well? And what it ended up being was a 14-foot canoe that was upside down in the picture is what it was. And so with that, people have been up and down there for the last 32 years. That is a very heavily traveled area. We're going to share that in the upcoming edit in the video, and you'll see plain as day that this is not Randy's car, and there's nothing to hide in this area.
But Jared, isn't that really a testament to this power of this crowdsourced intelligence, that somebody out there was able to go through all of that imagery and dial down and say, here's something worth looking at, which saves tons of time of just walking through the brush looking for things, I mean, I just thought that was just the perfect example of what this is about, what we're doing.
But that wasn't 100%, and that wasn't the only one. I mean, here's another image that has never been cleared, and this one is just south of it was at Stranger Creek off of Highway 32. So Highway 32 at Stranger Creek, if you're at that bridge and you go south of there through the farm field and you look on Google Images right now as well, you're going to see another is there a car that's hiding in the brush over there? And so we actually went on foot over there as well. And at that location, it just turned out to be a bunch of trees and brush that have fallen down over the years that's all piled up that could certainly appear to be, lead you to believe that it's a car or that there's a car underneath of it. And we cleared that to the T with the GPS coordinates. So thank you very much for sending in your tips, looking on, Google and everywhere else, sending in, because we don't know, and so there's been cases that have been solved by people just searching Google Earth. And one of the things is, if anybody's on here watching this, there's another video that's online that says, hey, this could be Randy Leach's car. That's already been cleared as well. So, there's not necessary to send in any more tips on that video that's online, nor the image south of 32, south of the little farm field right there, nor north of the pig farm. We have looked on that entire ravine heading up there towards the cemetery. So that's been all cleared. And then that took us, Sam, over to, I forget the name of the lake. I want to say not Soxility. I don't know the exact name of the lake. But anyway, it's a lake near where Harold actually ended up growing up. And it was one of those lakes that, there's always been some suspicion, like, Harold grew up around this lake, and if Randy's found in this lake, and Harold lived next to the lake, so Harold has to be responsible for this if Randy's found in the lake. I mean, it's just the way that people put things together and the rumors from over the years. And I mean, here's the thing. I don't know how many people know this or not, but Harold, because, they do look towards the parents, they look to everybody. And Harold went down, and Harold, did a straight up lie detector test. Harold passed this lie detector test with flying colors. There is from me hanging out with Harold in Alberta, zero suspicion there. But if you want not just my feelings on it, we do have an actual lie detector test that cleared Harold from all of this as well. Mike, what are your feelings on lie detector tests, and how have they been used in your, over the years?
Well, I think they're just another tool in the tool belt. They're not valid in court, so they're not something that you can bring in and say, this is proof someone's truthful or someone's deceptive. But they certainly can help in the investigation, and they can help you kind of guide by the questions that are asked where you want to go next. The thing that's interesting to me about a polygraph or a lie detector test is that it also is a way for the individuals who are responsible or involved in something to just say one more level of, here, I'm transparent. Look at me any way you want. I didn't have anything to do with this. And so we see in many cases, lawyers will suggest that their clients never take a lie detector test. Again, they're called polygraphs. There are voice stress analysis tests that do very similar kinds of things. They determine if there's deception, and lawyers will just flat out tell their clients in many cases, do not do this. But you think about most people that are in a position that they're offered a opportunity to do lie detector. They're so grateful for one more thing to just prove I'm telling you the truth, because man, some people are just pointed at, like Harold, pointed at because he's the dad. Well, that's a pretty lousy piece of evidence just that you're associated with someone. So I think they're great. I love to see when people step up and actually do the polygraph, but I also recognize there's risk. Some people get really stressed out just doing it, and they may get deceptive kinds of claims out of it that could be problematic for them. So,
yeah. So with that, so that was 3 locations on the first day, and then so then the fourth one is we ended up in the water on that 4th day as well. And with that, we were using some new sonar equipment that we had. So thank you to Ringo and Czar for helping us out with that donation. And it was the new Garmin LiveScope. So we're using our side scan, our down imaging, as well as the LiveScope. And it was really unique using it in combination with what we do, because we identified, we cleared this entire lake in 25 minutes or so, Sam?
Yeah.
And there was one target that we focused in on that was like the size and shape of a car. For the most part, if you think about what a car may look like buried after 32 years, this was fitting it to a T. We're dealing with we're 5.5, 6 feet wide. I think we measured it was like 11 feet long, 11, 12 feet long. And it's like, holy, we got to get down on this one, Sam. But the great thing also is, adding to our arsenal of making us more efficient is we're able to use a 24-foot painter's pole. So a painter's pole is, you can buy them in different lengths. And so we have an 8-foot length that's in the boat, and then you can untwist it and you can make the pole longer. And so you can actually extend it to 24 feet. And with that, we put a GoPro on the end of it. We're going to make it even better, Sam. And we have some other good stuff too that we'll tell them about. Right, Sam?
Yeah. It's awesome. What we have now is great.
Yeah. And so with that, so we have a GoPro on the end of it. We were able to run the GoPro down after Sam put the magnet on it. It was really cool watching Sam also with the magnet and the anchor, because with the live scope, you can actually see in real time the anchor going down and catching on it.
That's awesome.
And then you can see the magnet going down and catching on it as well. And then we put the GoPro down there, and you can see like the entire pole, and you can see the line from the anchor. And so we're able to grab that footage, bring it up, review it right there on the phone from the GoPro app, and be like, wah, wah, wah. It turned out to be a large irrigation intake cage is what it was.
Like a great.
Yeah. So,
something to protect a pump or something.
Yeah. And so we were very hopeful that we were going to be able to identify it. And then since then, we've also recently received, I don't have it in here, but we also have the new five fish that we're able to use as an underwater drone that is going to be even better than us dropping a GoPro down, because now we can drop it down and we can look in real time. We can drive this thing around and identify and take video and everything for you. And with the five fish also, I just want to mention thank you to everybody as an update. I know that within my accounts that have come in so far, we have, I don't know if you knew this or not, Mike, but we were in Kentucky just a few days ago with a Jamestown volunteer fire department dive team. Their dive team was.
I think we were talking while you were working. I think we were FaceTiming while you were working.
Yeah. And
Sam was trying to work his way into the front seat of the truck, if I remember right.
That's right. And so he got his way into the front seat of the truck, but total, we were able to, in my account so far, $6,000 has come in so far for the fire department dive team. In addition to that, if everybody's true to their word that says that they're sending checks, we have another $2,000 or $3,000 coming in. So we've raised over $9,000 for the volunteer fire department dive team.
How cool is that?
That 12 years ago they put this together. They still do not to this day have any sonar equipment for their boats. And so for us, we're like, and we talk about this often as to, people say, well, why isn't the fire department doing this? Or why isn't this agency doing this? And well, it's because, volunteers, and it all comes down to dollars that they just simply do not have the funds for it. So because of you, the viewers who have stepped up, who donated, we were able to raise this money for them.
There
and
you
so
go.
I want to say thank you, because now
cool.
Team Water Sonar is hooking them up with a fire department discount, because their distributors were able to fund them now with two Helix 10s with GPS transducers, one for each boat. So that way they can go look for missing persons. Over the past 12 years, they've recovered 10 for families. There's still one that's missing. And then in addition to that, enough funds were also raised for the five fish underwater drone. They're going to be able to use with a manipulator, so they can, once they identify a target, they have something on it, they can actually follow it down with the drone, and then they can grab it and bring it up, because their lake there is so deep that it's, some of it's unsafe to put a diver in, because it's so deep that a recreational diver cannot go that deep. So thank you to everybody. It's very, humbling and very thankful and very much appreciated by the entire fire department over there. So everything is on order. They're getting the money, and anything over any overages, 100%, all of it is going to the fire department, so that way they can continue to invest in other gear that they need as well. Because here's the thing, in search and rescue and everything that we're doing, you can never have enough. I mean, communications will be the next thing they'll start saving for, and new full face mask, and additional, make sure everybody has a pony bottle and the proper gear and equipment. So it really never ends. So know that if you're still sending in those donations, that they're definitely going to appreciate those.
Gosh, what a cool thing.
Yeah.
Congratulations and thanks to everyone.
Sam, go ahead and try again.
Yeah, plus I got to drive a fire truck, so that was
Who doesn't want to drive a fire truck?
I know that was like a childhood dream come true. It was just good.
So I know that we only have like 4.5, 5 minutes left because we have your profiling evil going on. So I want to jump into a few more things real quick. Again, access denied on a piece of property. Still going to tell you about that one. We're not going to leave until I tell you about it tonight, and then we're going to tell you more about it in the actual edited video that comes out as well. But part of our thing was there's kind of your family did it. No, your family did it. And that's kind of comes into the Harold taking the polygraph of clearing his name from it. But now there's still darts being thrown at other people in the area. Well, I think that, you guys might be involved in it. You might be involved in it. And a lot of rumors. And so here we are. We're in Linwood helping to clear these rumors up. So that way now these people can say 100%, check this out. Here is video evidence. Adventures of the Purpose came in. They checked our pond. There is nothing here to be. You move on to the next rumor. This rumor's clear. They've checked off the box. And so one of those was Joe Wilson's property, and Joe Jr. Was friends with Randy back in the day as well. And so we went over to their property, and we referred to his grandma, Joe Jr.'s wife. So grandma had no problem with this, going, yes, please. Come on the property, check out this pond, make sure that this is, clear and done once and for all. In fact, they, the granddaughter, Joe Jr.'s daughter, her fiance actually watches the show as well. So, they knew who we were, and they were very happy to have us there to clear the property and just to take this cloud off of them. But then we ended up on another one, Jim Bishop. Has that come up in your files yet, Mike? I forget. We've looked at so many things I can't remember.
Yeah, no, I that's not ringing a bell.
Okay. So anyway, this is a property of suspicion as well, because
you and I talked about this. Yeah, we did talk about this. Yeah, and the not the confrontation, but the discussion you had.
Yeah, and so I won't say suspicion. I'm just going to say it's goes along with some of the other rumors that we are just here we want to just check this off is all we want to do. We don't care who, we just care about the where and checking those off. So anyway, we pull into the nice large property, go up and ring the Ring video doorbell. So I know that my entire conversation is on video somewhere. But the thing is here we are on private property. It's not like, dealing with law enforcement out in the general public. So, while I have an audio recording of my entire conversation, I can't share that with you guys publicly. I can't share any video that we took on the property. We did a short little wrap after we left the property, and the property's in the background, but it pretty much went like this is, no, you need to take my word on it. The KBI has been here. They've looked around the property. I'm not going to let you do anything else on my property. And it was a very cordial conversation with the missus that was there. The mister was gone for the day at work. And with that, it was let me just be very clear with you. Let me make sure that you have my information. Here's who we are. Here's my phone number. But I want you to be very clear with this. And I would love it if you invite me back. That if I leave your property right now and we don't spend 15 minutes clearing the pond in the back, that's all I'm asking for, 15 minutes on the back pond, that I want you to, I need to be very clear. There is going to be a cloud over your property and people are going to question. And this is not just people in Linwood, but we're going to have people from around the world that are going to be questioning, what are they trying to hide at the Bishop's farm?
Yeah, there you go. I mean, it's just a matter of, will you open the door to solve, and maybe they've opened the door a bunch of times before and they're thinking enough's enough. But I mean, holy cow, you got over 1 million people that watch you that's a significant thing. And for just the peace of mind of that family, why not?
Yeah. And I told her too, I said, here's the thing. I said, again, we document everything. It will be online. So that way, if anybody else ever comes knocking and they say, what about this rumor? You can say, go right here. Look at that. 100%. What more would you like from us? It's a done deal. They've checked it off. They've moved on to the next one. Whereas, while she says, take my word for it, the KBI did it, I have not done it. And we've been in locations before where other people have checked it off, but then we go back and then we end up finding, So that's kind of where we're at right now with all of that. Here's the thing: it's 8 o'clock. There's so much more that's going to be happening, and we're going to be sharing with the Randy Leach case. We're actually going to have 5 episodes coming out on that one. I gave you very little.
We picked up one new location today that has some pretty good legs under it that would be worth looking at if you get back out there. And there's still the stretch from the bridge down to the Kansas River that needs to be searched.
With magnetometer.
Yeah. So there's still work to do. Yeah.
Yeah. So with that, before we wrap up, here's the thing: is we have so much. You are not going to want to miss the episode that we're moving over to Mike Kings in just a moment on profiling evil, because Mike Bishop, where are you at? He's better be here in a few minutes. Because
Francis door texted me. Mike just texted me and he said, "Can you have Doug quietly open the door?"
Quietly open the door. Oh, he's standing outside of the door right now, quietly. I told him he can be noisy on it. And so you're not going to want to miss that, because Mike Bishop, holy moly, him and you have taken the lead on this, and it's just like mind-boggling what we have going on over there as well.
Yeah. So make sure you're coming over to Profiling Evil, because we're going to be talking about the Brian McKenzie case, and I think we'll have Frances on, which we had some audio trouble last time, but what an amazing woman she is. So that'll be really interesting.
Yeah, look, Mike has one of these too. Real quick before we go, and we have people go over to you as well. You have a new book that's out with the person that you are over the years and the cases that you've been on. Someday you're going to write a book about Randy as well, and you're going to write a book about working with Adventures with Purpose and all of that. But right now, is this your first book that you've written, or are you?
Actually, it's about the 6th book that I've written, but there have been 2 that I've written by myself. Others I've authored with other people, but this one is an incredibly special book. We have the whole back office here, and we're shipping out thousands of books tonight. We using this tonight as kind of the launch, but this book is about an investigation I did 30 years ago this year. And it was the investigation into a cult that was sexually abusing children, who endured literally hundreds and hundreds of sexual assaults at the hands of the 120 adults in this cult that were living there. And it's about the investigation that I did, the raid, which we rescued 32 children, the 12 people that went to prison or that were convicted in this case. But most importantly, this is about the victims who reached out to me 2 years ago and said, we're still struggling with the after effects of what we went through. We need help understanding what happened. And at their prompting, they said, we want our story told. So this is a story about their resilience and their strength and determination to beat these bounders who were sexually assaulting them. And they rose above it. And it was climaxed by me meeting them for the first time, again, in 30 years. These are now 45-year-old women on the Dr. Phil show. And he brought those kids in, and I got to see them for the first time, which was incredibly emotional for me. I am just so honored to be able to represent those kids in telling this story. So thank you for mentioning it to your group. And you can order it at profilingevil.com. And
we have a link in the description down below. And then if one of the mods can grab that link in my description and drop that in from Mike, drop that over. And yeah, I mean, I watched your Dr. Phil episode on that one, and I mean, it was emotionally moving, and the work that you've done over the years, and I mean, you took on a case, and when they came in and told you about it, I mean, your jaw dropped, and you stuck with it, and you helped those kids in a way that, I mean, you're gonna have to read the book. I mean, it's just one of those things. And of those 1,000 books that you're sending out tonight, did you sign each and every one of them?
No. Well, I've signed an autograph just on the first 500, and the back office said I needed to keep signing. So I think we're up to about 750, and I'll just sign for the next couple of days, because anybody that orders, I want them to get one that's signed, and then it rolls over to Amazon and everybody else, and you lose control of it. But we wanted the first batch of 4,000 or 5,000 to be just intimately delivered.
Yeah, so definitely check it out. I appreciate your note in here. I'm going to read it out loud. I haven't even read it yet, so I did the note because it just walked in the door.
I'm interested if you can read my handwriting.
Yeah, no, it's cursive, so it's in code. I think I'll be able to go back to like 3rd grade to figure this out. It says, Jared, thanks for your example of goodness and your selfless service. I hope you enjoy this story. Your friend, Mike King. So, Mike, thank you for that. Sam, he has one for you as well. Let me see if he signed yours. Look at that. He signed yours as well.
Right.
Yeah, and we also have Mike Bishop, who's going to be on your episode in just a few minutes. So thank you for that. Thank you to everybody that was on here tonight. We have so many more stories as we are on the Q1 2021 road trip across the U.S. Right now, we're in Nashville looking for Bill Simmons. We're going to be working on right after Bill Simmons on the 26th. We're going to be in Jackson, and let's jump over right now over there. So if you guys can drop a link to Mike King's live stream that's ready to go live in like 4 minutes, 3 minutes, 5 minutes.
3
4
minutes.
minutes. We're going live in 4 minutes over on Profiling Evil. This is one episode you're not going to want to miss.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, for being here. And if you guys can drop a link over to Mike's YouTube right now.
I just put it in the chat.
Dan.
And go to that. We're going to be over there right now for the next hour. So thank you very much. Everybody's support is incredible. That's it. Good night. Bye-bye.